Perched on a windswept promontory above the North Sea, Dunnottar Castle is more than a ruin. It is a monument to Scottish resilience. Its jagged silhouette against the horizon evokes centuries of siege, sanctuary, and sacrifice, while its stones whisper tales of Viking raids, royal visits, and Jacobite dreams. One episode stands above the rest: the hiding of the honours of Scotland in 1651. In that act of defiance, Dunnottar became not merely a fortress, but a reliquary of national identity, a place where Scotland's sovereignty was preserved in secret under siege and against overwhelming odds. Dunnottar's geography is its first mnemonic. The castle sits atop a rocky headland, nearly isolated from the mainland, accessible only by a narrow path that twists and climbs like a ritual procession. The cliffs plunge into the sea, creating a natural defense that has repelled invaders for centuries. This isolation is not just strategic, it is symbolic. Dunnottar is a place apart, a liminal space where history is dramatized and memory is ritualized. The site's earliest known use dates to the 5th century, when Saint Ninian is said to have established a chapel there. By the 9th century, it was the scene of Viking violence. King Donald II was killed here in 900 AD, and the fortress was razed. Rebuilt and fortified over centuries, Dunnottar became the seat of the powerful Keith family, hereditary Earls Marischal of Scotland. It was they who would later guard the honours, the crown, sceptre and sword of state against Cromwell's forces. The honours of Scotland are not mere regalia, they are mnemonic codices of monarchy, ritual and resistance. Forged in the 15th and 16th centuries, they were used in coronations and state ceremonies embodying the continuity of Scottish kingship. When Charles I was executed in 1649 and Oliver Cromwell's Republican forces advanced northward, the honours became a target, not for their material value but for their symbolic power. To seize them would be to erase Scotland's sovereign memory. In 1651, as Cromwell's army approached, the honours were moved from Edinburgh Castle to Dunnottar, a fortress chosen not for its grandeur, but for its defensibility and secrecy. The Earl Marischal William Keith entrusted their protection to a small garrison led by Sir George Ogilvy of Barras. What followed was a siege not just of stone walls, but of symbolic endurance. Cromwell's forces laid siege to Dunnottar in late 1651. The garrison was vastly outnumbered, and the castle's isolation became both a strength and a vulnerability. Supplies dwindled. Escape was impossible. Yet the honours remained hidden, not in vaults or towers, but in the folds of ritual and ingenuity. The most dramatic moment came when the honours were smuggled out of the castle under the nose of the besiegers. According to legend, Christian Fletcher, the wife of the minister of Kinneff, played a central role. Disguised as a washerwoman, she carried the regalia out piece by piece, concealed in sacks of laundry, hidden beneath cloaks, and spirited away to the parish church of Kinneff. There, they were buried beneath the floorboards, guarded not by soldiers, but by silence and secrecy. This act was more than clever, it was liturgical. The honours were not simply hidden, they were entombed, like relics awaiting resurrection. Fletcher's journey was a procession, her concealment a sacrament. In this ritual of resistance, Dunnottar became a reliquary and Fletcher a priestess of sovereignty. The siege ended in May 1652. Cromwell's forces took the castle, but the honours were gone. The garrison was interrogated, tortured, and imprisoned, but none betrayed the secret. The regalia remained hidden until the restoration of Charles II in 1660, when they were unearthed and returned to ceremonial use. Dunnottar, however, never fully recovered. The Keiths fell from power after the Jacobite rebellion of 1715, and the castle was abandoned. Its stones were left to weather and ruin, but its story endured. The hiding of the honours became legend, a tale of courage, cunning and conviction. Today, the regalia are displayed in Edinburgh Castle, but their spirit still haunts Dunnottar's cliffs. To understand Dunnottar's significance, one must see it not just as a historical site, but as a mnemonic codex, a place where memory is encoded in architecture, ritual and story. The castle dramatizes the tension between fragility and endurance. Its ruined halls evoke loss, but its legend evokes resilience. The hiding of the honours is a masterclass in symbolic resistance. It was not a military victory, but a narrative triumph. The regalia were preserved not by force, but by faith. Faith in secrecy, in ritual, and in the emotional logic of sovereignty. The story resonates because it transforms abstract concepts, nationhood, loyalty, identity, into tangible acts. A woman carrying laundry becomes a guardian of monarchy. A parish church becomes a sanctuary of statehood. For Scotland, Dunnottar is a reminder that sovereignty is not just declared, it is remembered. The honours were never meant to be wielded like weapons. They were meant to be witnessed, revered, and protected. Their concealment was an act of mnemonic defiance, a refusal to forget. Today, visitors to Dunnottar walk the same narrow path once trod by defenders and smugglers. They stand in the ruined chapel where English soldiers once burned. They peer into the vaults where prisoners were held. But most of all, they feel the wind. The same wind that carried whispers of resistance across the cliffs. The castle has become a pilgrimage site for those who seek not just history, but meaning. Its story is taught in schools, dramatized in films, and etched into the national psyche. It is a place where Scotland's emotional logic is made visible, where ritual, resilience, and remembrance converge. In recent years, Dunnottar has also become a symbol of civic humility. It reminds us that power is fleeting, but memory endures. The Keiths lost their titles. The castle fell to ruin. But the honours survived because ordinary people, ministers, washerwomen, parishioners, chose to protect them. In that choice, they became stewards of legacy. Dunnottar Castle is more than a ruin, it is a fortress of the mind. Its story is not just about stone and siege, but about the choreography of memory. The hiding of the honours of Scotland was a ritual of resistance, a mnemonic act that preserved sovereignty in the face of erasure. For Scotland, Dunnottar is a reliquary of identity. It teaches that history is not just recorded, it is curated, concealed, and carried. It shows that even in ruin, a place can hold power. And it reminds us that the most enduring acts of defiance are not loud, they are quiet, cunning, and sacred.